Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins Collections, where we dive deep into the world of rare and valuable coins. Today, we have something truly special for you, the 1984 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, it might look like just another quarter you'd find in your pocket change. But don't be fooled. Some of these coins are worth way more than just 25 cents. In fact, one rare version of this coin has been sold for an astonishing $77,000. So, what makes this ordinary-looking quarter so special? Let's find out. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932, honoring the nation's first president, George Washington. By 1984, these quarters were being minted in massive numbers, but not all of them were created equal. During the minting process, some quarters came out with rare errors or unique features that make them incredibly valuable to collectors. And if you happen to have one of these rare quarters, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Now, let's talk about what makes certain 1984 Washington quarters so rare and desirable. One of the biggest factors that drive up the value of a coin is minting errors. The U.S. Mint produces millions of coins each year, but sometimes, mistakes slip through the cracks. These errors turn everyday coins into collectors' treasures. Here are some key errors to look for in your 1984 Washington quarter. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die obverse, DDO. This happens when the design is imprinted twice, creating a noticeable doubling effect, especially on the lettering and the portrait of George Washington. If you spot this on your quarter, congratulations, you might have a rare and valuable coin. Another rare variety is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is struck improperly, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted to one side. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. There's also the no mint mark error. The 1984 quarters were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each marked with a tiny letter, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. But if you find a quarter without any mint mark, it could be a rare error coin worth a significant amount. Lastly, let's talk about the material. While most 1984 Washington quarters were made of copper nickel clad, some rare coins were mistakenly struck on different metal planchets, like silver or experimental compositions. These unique coins are extremely rare and highly valuable. So, how much can a 1984 Washington quarter be worth? If you have a standard 1984 quarter in average circulated condition, it's probably worth just its face value, 25 cents. However, if your coin is in mint state condition, meaning it has never been used and still looks brand new, it could be worth anywhere from a few dollars to a few $100s, depending on its grade. But here's where it gets really exciting. A rare 1984 Washington quarter with a significant minting error or in exceptional condition has been known to sell for an astonishing $77,000. Yes, you heard that right, $77,000 for a single quarter. Imagine finding one of these in your old coin collection or even in your spare change. So, if you've got a stash of old coins, it might be time to take a closer look. You never know, you could be holding on to a hidden treasure. Today, we have an exciting discovery for you, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar. This isn't just any old pocket change. Hidden among these coins are rare and valuable treasures that could be worth far more than you might imagine. In fact, one of these quarters could be worth a staggering $83,000. Stick around because we're about to dive deep into the history, rarity, and special features that make this coin a collector's dream. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and why this small piece of American history is turning heads in the numismatic world. Let's get started. The 1965 Washington quarter comes from a time of great change in American coinage. Before 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver, but due to rising silver prices and increasing demand, the U.S. Mint decided to switch to a copper-nickel-clad composition. This was a major shift, and as with any big transition, there were bound to be mistakes that would later become golden opportunities for collectors. Now, what makes the 1965 Washington quarter so special? It's not just about the year, it's about the rare errors and varieties that have been discovered over time. Let's talk about some of the most valuable ones. One of the rarest errors is the 1965 silver quarter mistake. Some 1965 quarters were mistakenly struck on silver planchets instead of the new copper-nickel ones. These coins are incredibly valuable because they were never supposed to exist. Imagine holding one of these historical errors in your hand, something so rare that only a handful are known to exist. Another fascinating error to watch for is the double die obverse, DDO. This happens when the coin's design is accidentally stamped twice, creating a slight but noticeable doubling effect on the inscriptions or the portrait of George Washington. If you spot this doubling, you might be looking at a coin worth thousands. Then, there's the off-center strike error, where the design is not properly centered on the coin. The more dramatic the off-center misalignment, the more valuable the coin becomes. Collectors love these because each one is unique. If you're checking your 1965 quarters, also keep an eye out for the wrong planchet error. This happens when the quarter is mistakenly struck on a dime-sized or even foreign planchet. These unusual minting errors make the coin incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. Now, you're probably wondering, how much could these rare 1965 Washington quarters be worth today? Well, if you have one in pristine condition, especially with one of these rare errors, you could be sitting on a small fortune. In fact, one of these rare 1965 Washington quarters has sold for an unbelievable $83,000. That's right, something that was once just spare change could now be worth a life-changing amount of money. So, if you have a jar of old quarters lying around, take a close look. You never know what hidden treasure you might find. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1993 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that many people overlook but could actually be worth a small fortune. That's right, if you have one of these rare gems, you might be holding onto a coin that could change your life. So, what makes the 1993 Washington quarter special? Why are some of them fetching jaw-dropping prices at auctions? Stick around because we're about to uncover the rare features, minting errors, and unique qualities that could make your quarter worth an incredible amount of money. The Washington quarter has been a cornerstone of American currency since 1932. By 1993, the design had remained largely the same, featuring the legendary first president, George Washington, on the obverse and the proud American eagle on the reverse. However, not all 1993 quarters are created equal. Some have special minting errors and rare varieties that make them extremely valuable. One of the most exciting and rarest errors found in 1993 quarters is the double die obverse, DDO. This happens when the coin's design is stamped twice, creating a slight but noticeable doubling effect on the words, "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or even Washington's profile. These coins are highly sought after, and if you spot this doubling on your quarter, you could be looking at a serious payday. Another major error to look for is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin isn't properly aligned during minting, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted to one side. The more off-center the strike, the rarer, and more valuable, the coin becomes, but the real jackpot lies in the wrong planchet errors. In some rare cases, a 1993 Washington quarter was mistakenly struck on a different metal planchet, such as one meant for a nickel or even a foreign coin. These mistakes are incredibly rare and can drive the coin's value sky high. Now, let's talk about the most valuable version of the 1993 Washington quarter, the ones that have been preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for coins that have never been in circulation, especially if they have a high-grade rating from coin grading services like PCGS or NGC. A perfect or near-perfect quarter with one of these rare errors could be worth an absolute fortune. So, you're probably wondering, how much could one of these rare 1993 Washington quarters be worth today? Well, hold on to your seats because one of these extraordinary coins has been valued at a staggering $72,000. That's right, $72,000 for a single quarter. Imagine the possibilities if you found one of these rare treasures in your collection or in your spare change. It's proof that sometimes, the smallest things hold the greatest value. Today, we're talking about the 1967 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that might look ordinary but could be worth an incredible amount of money. Most people see quarters as just pocket change, but some of them are hiding secrets that make them extremely valuable to collectors. If you have a 1967 Washington quarter, you must check it carefully because certain rare varieties and minting errors have turned some of these coins into treasures worth thousands, or even tens of thousands, of dollars. Now, let's uncover the mysteries behind this incredible coin and find out what makes it so special. The 1960s were a transformational period for U.S. coinage. Just 2 years earlier, in 1965, the U.S. Mint stopped producing quarters with silver and switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition due to rising silver prices. By 1967, the Mint was still adjusting to these changes, and that led to several minting mistakes that now make some of these quarters extremely valuable. One of the most sought-after rarities of the 1967 Washington quarter is the full drumlines error. On the reverse of the coin, the American eagle holds a bundle of arrows, and if you look closely, you might see that the drum lines are fully struck and deeply detailed. This feature is rare because many 1967 quarters were poorly struck, making any with a sharp, well-defined design a collector's dream, but the real gold mine comes with error coins. One of the most famous errors in the 1967 Washington quarter series is the double die obverse, DDO. This occurs when the coin is accidentally stamped twice, causing noticeable doubling on the letters in Liberty, In God We Trust, or even George Washington's profile. These coins are extremely valuable, and collectors are always on the hunt for them. Another rare error is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin. Some off-center 1967 quarters have sold for thousands of dollars, depending on how dramatic the misalignment is. And then, there's the wrong planchet error, one of the rarest and most valuable mistakes of all. Some 1967 Washington quarters were mistakenly struck on planchets meant for other coins, like dimes or even foreign currency. If you find a quarter that seems thinner, lighter, or has an unusual color, you might be looking at an ultra-rare piece worth big money. Now, let's talk about condition. Even without errors, a 1967 Washington quarter in mint, uncirculated condition can be worth a significant amount. Coins that have been well preserved and graded highly by professional coin grading services like PCGS or NGC can command huge prices at auction. So, how much could a rare 1967 Washington quarter be worth today? Brace yourself, because one of these extraordinary coins has been valued at a jaw-dropping $80,000, that's right, $80,000 for a single quarter. Imagine finding one of these rare gems in your old collection, in a coin roll, or even in loose change. It's proof that sometimes, the smallest things hold incredible value. Today, we're diving deep into the world of rare and valuable coins, and this time, we're talking about the 1983 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that might just be hiding a fortune in plain sight. Most people think of quarters as just pocket change, but some 1983 quarters have become highly sought after by collectors, fetching massive prices at auctions. Why? Because of rare minting errors, low survival rates, and unique features that make them incredibly valuable. If you have a 1983 Washington quarter, pay close attention, because you might be holding a coin worth thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. Now, let's break down what makes this quarter so special. The 1983 Washington quarter comes from a time when the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins for circulation. But here's the catch: no official mint sets were released in 1983. That means most of these quarters were heavily used in everyday transactions, making high-quality, well-preserved examples extremely hard to find. Because of this, finding a 1983 Washington quarter in pristine, uncirculated condition is rare, and collectors are willing to pay a hefty price for one. But condition alone isn't the only thing that makes this coin valuable. Let's talk about the errors and unique varieties that can turn an ordinary 1983 quarter into a jackpot. One of the most famous minting errors for the 1983 quarter is the double die obverse, DDO. This happens when the coin is struck twice, causing slight but noticeable doubling on the words, Liberty, In God We Trust, or even parts of Washington's profile. These errors are rare and highly sought after, making them some of the most valuable coins from this year. Another valuable mistake is the off-center strike. If you find a 1983 Washington quarter where the design appears shifted or incomplete, you could be looking at a rare misprint that collectors will pay big money for. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin becomes, but perhaps the rarest and most valuable error of all is the wrong planchet error. In some cases, the 1983 Washington quarter was accidentally struck on a planchet meant for a different coin, like a nickel or even a foreign currency. These mistakes are incredibly rare and can drive the value of the coin sky high. Now, here's something even more exciting: some 1983 quarters have been discovered with a missing mint mark. Normally, you would see a small letter P, Philadelphia, or D, Denver, below Washington's portrait, but a few rare ones were minted without it. If you find a 1983 quarter missing its mint mark, it could be worth a significant amount of money. So, how much could a rare 1983 Washington quarter be worth today? Get ready for this, because one of these extraordinary coins has been valued at an astonishing $74,000, that's right, $74,000 for a single quarter. Imagine finding one of these in your old collection, in a jar of loose change, or even in your pocket. It's proof that sometimes, the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight. If you love learning about rare and valuable coins, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an exciting discovery. Who knows? The next rare coin could be sitting right in your hands. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.